I'm Rick Bayless. The restaurant's names are Frontera Grill and Topolobampo in downtown Chicago. The Obamas are just an amazing couple. Not only are they just drop dead beautiful when they walk through the room, but they're also sort of the dream guests for any chef because they really love to eat. They come here and they order the tasting menus. They want to explore new flavors. They're adventurous in that regard. We always talk about food when they come in because I wouldn't say he's a little bit of a foodie. I'd say he's a real foodie because he's not just interested in what's the hot new trendy thing and trying to keep up with that. He just likes flavor and he likes food. And I would call that the perfect definition of a foodie. Not just a trendy person, but somebody who really loves food and flavor. So we always talk about flavors every time he and Michelle come in. Right after he was elected senator, the two of them started coming in together, and you can't help but just sort of take pause when you see them at a table or see them walking through the room, and he's got such a commanding way about him. But I have to say that I've met several other presidents, and yes, he's charismatic, but in a very approachable sort of way. They have a special table. The first time that they came in, you know, kind of the reputation of a lot of politicians is that they want to be on display. So we gave them the most visible table in our dining room. And they seemed to kind of like that, but they were actually kind of on a date night. So he was clearly torn between whether he wanted to be seen and whether he just wanted to sit in a corner and talk with his wife. And the next time that they came in, we put them at the opposite end of the spectrum at the most secluded table. And so I went to him and I said, "Which table do you prefer?" And he pointed to the table that he was at and he said, "This is our table, and that's the only table I've ever sat in." We're in a new era, and I can really say that it's an important thing to keep the feeling of the country in mind. And so my recommendations for the White House chef would be to keep up with that. We've known state dinners to be sort of great big banquets where international fare is served. And we don't have to do that anymore. That's not the era that we're in our country. We are now a country that has a distinctive food tradition going on. And I would love to see more regional, seasonal, local kinds of products, sustainably raised products. I have to say, we never hear about what's on the president's private table, or rarely do we even hear about what's on the tables at the big dinners. But you know, that could be a way to really lead our country. I think that's a really important thing to keep in mind because the Obamas eat beautiful food and they eat healthy food. And if we just got a weekly menu of what they had, you know that everybody in this country would be wanting to follow suit. They would be saying, well, give me the recipe for that. Let's begin to develop real pride in our country's food traditions by publicizing what's being served at these state dinners. Because I think that everybody's going to want to follow suit with them. The Obamas are young, they're charismatic, they're cool. And everybody's going to want to emulate them. And I tell you, they could set the most amazing example for our country and really change the way America eats.